Doing? How we doing? We got another one for you. We're going to talk a little bit about CaitlinClark and the WNBA collective bargaining agreement. And that's what I see that is hitting the desk today. And it was a little shocking to me. I'll bring it to you. The WNBA, as I ran the report yesterday, speaking of the WNBA players and how they're speaking about fans and how they're going about, and also speaking about racism. But I had to take a deeper dive. Whenever I see something like that, I start digging deeper and deeper, and I try to find the root cause of what's really going on. Well, what's really going on? The racism is one aspect, but the WNBA and the women of the WNBA are now going into collective bargaining. Now, when you say, Money Mike, what do you mean collective bargaining? The WNBA signed a new contract just a little over 4 years ago. And when they signed that new contract, here's what you got to understand. There were some terms and there were some things negotiated in that contract, but the WNBA is facing a bigger battle. When you face the bigger battle, here's what you got to understand. Everything you do when you go into contract negotiations. Now, if I had my way, I'd probably say, hey, well, let's just let CaitlinClark do all the negotiations for the entire WNBA. But that would be wrong to do. And because you got to have the experience, you got to have the leadership, you got to know what you're doing, and they got a valuable, powerful leader. Because what took place with the WNBA and the NBA, this one's strange, folks, and I couldn't understand what was going on or how it was going to happen and how they decided, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it left me kind of shocked. It left me kind of shocked, and here's why. Because you got a situation now that the WNBA players just 4 years ago, okay, they entered into this, and here's where I'm going to go with the bombshell. And this one, the reason why this one's going to be really, really hard for the WNBA, and it's going to be hard on the NBA, okay, because the NBA is about to get a rude awakening from the WNBA. So understanding you got the racism, that's just one little part of this negotiation. And it took me there, and I had to say, okay, wait a minute, I'm going over this revenue. But before I go over the revenue, let's get back to who's leading the charge, right? Because you got the WNBA, okay, is got Terri Jackson is going to lead that charge, right? You know what? She's no stranger. I guarantee you that. She's no stranger to the WNBA and negotiations and how she looks at it. Because when you get to Terri Jackson, and you're talking about a powerful figure here, folks. You're talking about a powerful figure. Why am I saying you have a powerful figure? Because you got two individuals that she is associated with that they know the WNBA well, very well. This one here, I'm telling you, I'm backing up, so I want to cover this correctly. Okay, you got Miss Jackson's got a son, Jaren Jackson Jr. Okay, you got Jaren Jackson. They call him Jack, right? He's call him Jack in the NBA. Okay, had a good time with the Warriors, played in there. Good player, went overseas, played, just outstanding player. Okay, you got Terri Jackson, graduates from Georgetown. Okay, and you got Jaren Jackson Jr., right? Plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. So Miss Jackson's no stranger to what's going on. And when I started digging deeper, I said, okay, what's the problem? Really, what's going on? And I try to go down deep, folks. And let me try to tell you why I go down, because I kind of mentioned some things to you. I don't go down to the player level. I try to stay above the board. I try to look at what are the issues that the players may have. Could be in the National Football League, could be in Major League Baseball, could be in the NBA, and definitely couldn't be in college. So, and I try to dig those out and try to find an underlining issue, because I'm looking corporate enterprise business. You can look at it and say, well, let's see. Why are they losing money? Why do they keep saying they're losing money? And why is the WNBA still producing? Why are they saying the NBA is saying the WNBA is still losing money when they're producing so much revenue? I figured it out, folks. They went in there and in the last collective bargaining agreement, and Mrs. Jackson, she's going to know this. Terri Jackson is the executive, right? So when you run down through it and you look at it, you got to look at this collectively, and you got to say, okay, what's going on in the leadership division, and how does this all work for the WNBA? Because